Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to take a look at how some new planning reforms are creating a really powerful framework to protect our rural economy. Now, this is so much more than just policy. It's basically a blueprint for making sure Aotearoa's productive heartland is secure for generations to come. So here's the big question, right? It's the fundamental challenge these new reforms are trying to solve. How do we keep growing our amazing cities without just paving over the very countryside that feeds us and fuels our economy? It's all about finding that balance.
To really get your head around the solution, you first have to understand the problem. And there's this fantastic metaphor used in the source material that really helps, the hydraulic city. Just imagine our successful cities as these giant economic pressure cookers. So as our cities do well, they start generating this incredible economic force. It's like a piston in an engine, just building up pressure. And that pressure, which we see as soaring land values, well, it has to go somewhere. It starts to push people out who just can't afford to live in the center anymore.
Now, without anything to contain that pressure, it forces our communities to expand outwards. But here's the thing, it's not a planned, neat expansion. It's more like a chaotic leak. This messy, unserviced sprawl just seeps out right into our precious, productive rural land, breaking up farms and really damaging the whole rural economy. And that brings us to the solution. The whole point here is that this new system isn't just about writing more rules or creating more paperwork. It's much bigger than that. It's about building a brilliant piece of macro engineering to contain all that pressure. It's called the urban dam. Okay, so this urban dam has two main parts, and they're both absolutely key. On one hand, you have the Urbanization Promoting Area, the UPA. Think of that as the reservoir. It's the designated spot where we actually want growth to happen systematically, with all the infrastructure prioritized. And then, on the other hand, you've got the Urbanization Control Area, or UCA. Now this is the dam wall itself. It's the hard stop, like a giant stop valve that says, nope, sprawl ends here. It's what protects our rural land.
And honestly, this UCA is probably the single most important tool we have for rural protection. It's a non-negotiable line in the sand. It sends a crystal clear signal to the market that our productive land is not just some waiting room for suburbia. And by deliberately not investing in infrastructure here, we completely shut down speculative land banking right at the source.
All right, so we've built the dam. Now let's take a look at what's actually behind it. What is it that we're protecting with all this? Well, we're protecting what you could call Aotearoa's rural engines. And as you can see here, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach at all. There are different zones designed to do different jobs. You've got the rural production zone. That's for the big stuff, our food basket, large-scale agriculture. Then there's the rural mixed zone, which is perfect for smaller farms, rural services, and tourism. And finally, the rural extractive zone keeps heavy industry like mining and forestry separate. The whole idea is that together they create this really robust, diverse rural economy that's humming along, totally shielded from all that urban pressure. Now, when it comes to our absolute best, most productive land, that rural production zone, the protections are seriously layered on. For starters, extractive industries like mining are kept out to protect the soil quality. Any building controls are tied directly to promoting agriculture, not just building a house with a nice view. And crucially, these farms are shielded by something called the newcomer principle, which is a game changer for protecting them from complaints. Okay, but what happens when these different zones bump up against each other? You know, someone builds a new lifestyle block right next to a working winery. What then? Well, the system has a very clear, non-negotiable, golden rule for exactly that kind of scenario. It's called the newcomer principle, and it's so simple but so powerful. Basically, it's the rule of the road, and it protects the existing operations. It just says that whoever is introducing the change, the newcomer, is the one who has to bear the cost of any conflict that arises from that change. It's on them. So let's just walk through how this works in the real world. Say a new house goes up next to a farm that's been operating for decades. A conflict comes up. Maybe it's about noise from a tractor early in the morning. Well, under this principle, the newcomer, the new homeowner, has to bear the full cost of fixing it. Maybe that means they have to install acoustic glazing in their house. The farm's right to operate is totally protected. They don't have to change a thing or spend a cent. This is huge for preventing our farms and wineries from being slowly shut down by complaint. So you can see how all these pieces fit together, right? You've got the dam holding back the urban pressure, you've got these specialized zones humming along like well-oiled engines, and you have this golden rule to sort out any friction at the edges. What you end up with is a system that's designed from the ground up for balance, for predictability, and ultimately for prosperity. I think this quote just sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. The new framework provides the strong, reliable structure. That's the skeleton. And the standardized national rules, that's the DNA,
the predictable code that tells everything how it's supposed to grow. It's a fantastic way to think about it. It means everyone, whether you're in the city or the countryside, knows the rules of the game and can plan for the future with real confidence.
So where does that leave us? Well, the tools are all there. This new system gives us the blueprint. But, a blueprint is just a piece of paper, right? It's now up to our decision makers to actually pick up those tools and build this dam. The future prosperity and resilience of Aotearoa's heartland, well, it really does depend on it.